You're listening to a brand new episode of the Whole Story Podcast. We have a special edition today with Vickie Guerrero, who is a legendary pro wrestling manager. Vickie, thank you so much for your time this morning. It's great to catch up with you. It seems like forever since we last talked. So how has things been for you?
Hi, Alex. Thank you for having me on again. Life is good. Things are very different now since we've last spoken. But life has been very good. You know, I've been busy with my book and appearing on All Elite Wrestling, and just like you, staying at home and trying to wait for this crazy thing to finish. You know, so everyone can get back to their normal jobs.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is the first time since we've talked since your new podcast, too, Excuse Me podcast. So what has this been like for you to kind of test out this water in podcasting as well as transition to AEW as well?
Well, I'm trying to be as good as you guys because y'all are the professionals in the podcast business. I started back in October of 2018. I love it. You know, I mean, it's taken a while to take off the ground, but I have a producer, Jerry Strauss, who's just been my biggest asset and helping me, you know, edit and collect guests. And as you know, it's a lot of work to keep content going. But I love it. I'm a talker, and I love to meet new people and hear about their life. And we have episodes that release every Thursday, and I'm enjoying it now that I'm part of All Elite Wrestling. You know, to do special appearances, I'm able to use their roster, you know, for content. So it's been a really good transition, and I like it. But I'm trying to catch up to your status.
Now, can you walk me through, because this is a newer wrestling promotion. So what is one of the biggest things you've been able to do, because you're established in professional wrestling, to where you can offer advice and work with some people that may not experience going out there and doing a promo and failing for the first time for a promo? So what are kind of like the little things that you've been able to offer up advice to kind of be that helping hand to someone that hasn't experienced things that you've had in the past?
You know, the great thing about All Elite Wrestling is that they do have a lot of young talent on there. But the coaches they have are just incredible. And some of these guys are legends. You talk about Jerry Lynn, Dustin Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes. You know, so to have these legends be able to educate and share the knowledge with the younger talent. And I've been able to work with some of the girls and to give them advice and to give them pointers is something that's really important in this industry, because the knowledge that I have and the experiences is something that I'm able to share with them, because with these talents being so young, and they're incredibly talented. I mean, the talent they have on there is, I'm in awe of some of the things that they do. But, you know, for them to be able to hear, you know, advice from me and get pointers, I think that's what this is all about, is sharing our knowledge and being able to make the best talent that we can with them, because they're the ones that are going to carry the wrestling industry to the next generation.
Mm-hmm. What was one piece that you wanted to make sure that, you know, you value that everyone follows? Now, obviously, everyone kind of has their own path, not really path, but what's one value that you want to maintain that everyone follows in professional wrestling going forward?
Oh, gosh. You know, the one value that I always take on and give to other, especially the women there at All Elite, is to never stop learning. As good as you are and the most experience that you might have, once you stop learning, you won't grow. And I think that's something that's really important for the young kids to hear, is that each day is something new to learn. And I think when you don't allow yourself to have that open mind and open heart in the business, that's when, you know, things cannot be successful for someone. So as good as someone may be, even me, you know, to sit down with the coaches there and to be able to listen to new storylines and new ways of how they do stuff, I think that's just an incredible asset, because it takes a village to really make something successful. And with the kids they have there on their talent roster, it's just really exciting, because they're eager to learn, they're eager to, you know, follow direction, and to be able to work with the women there and to build their character and their image and the product that they want to be for their own, you know, success. I think that's really important, that they sit there and they're just really anxious to hear the knowledge and the experience that I've had, and to hear the good and bad. You know, there's a lot of hard work you have to put into it, and there's a lot of work that you have to put into your character, and that's knowing who the character is and what makes you, successful, and what makes you upset, and who your enemies are and who your friends are. And I think that when the girls were hearing that from me, it kind of takes them to a different angle of, it's not just about putting on gear and going in the ring. You really have to believe in your character and to build that. And it's not just keeping that character, it's evolving. So there's a lot of aspects. I got really excited to be able to work with the women there and just show them all these, all these assets to what makes a successful wrestler.
Mm-hmm. I guess my question would be a follow-up to that is, what was the last thing you learned?
Oh, gosh. The one thing I've learned is, well, this is a great example, being part of All Elite Wrestling this past week, from Double or Nothing pay-per-view to the 2 live TVs, is that you don't have an audience. And in my character, I value the audience so much because they're the ones who boo and cheer me, and it's the adrenaline from the crowd that really gets me excited when I'm on stage. So I had to learn to really, focus on my work and my character and my craft, because without an audience, let me tell you, Alex, it's a very different atmosphere when you're working in an empty arena and you only have a few roster that's heels and babies, and to only hear these 2 sides cheering for you. It's not the same versus a 10,000 member audience. So it was something to learn all over again, is to really focus on what's going on in the ring and imagine that the crowd's booing for me, which I'm sure they were at home, but it's something I had to learn all over again.
Mm-hmm. When you talk about developing and figuring out who you are as a character, who you are as a manager, when you look back at your career journey, what's one that you didn't really know was that just figuring out? What was one thing throughout this journey that you look back on and you're surprised that you developed something that you didn't have beforehand?
Oh my gosh, Alex, you are really on your toes today. The one thing that I had to really work on was, it's easy to be, the heel and the cougar and the general manager. The one thing that I learned was working with other people, and the guys that I managed, these were legends, Edge, and you had Dolph Ziggler, working with the McMahon family. It's working with other people, and the thing I learned, the lesson, was that it wasn't all about me. It was about the whole picture of the ring. So it's not about me shining the brightest in the ring. It's about working as a team and making sure that whatever the objective was for the night, that one person was put on the spotlight. And if it took a little bit of ounce for me to help with that, then that's what I learned about that, whatever it was that was going on.
Did you have a favorite job? And by job, I mean actual job in the storyline. Was it a manager that you really loved doing? Was it the general managers, or was it kind of like a mix of both?
I love managing because I love being involved in the match to where I could cheat, I could get disqualified, I could take the focus off the wrestler I was working with, whether it was like Cool or Edge or Dolph. I love being involved with the match because it just excited me to be able to have those 2 minutes of pissing off the crowd. That was my goal for each night. General managing was fun too, but of course, it was scripted to where, it didn't really come from me or what I wanted to do in that particular night. So the managing of a superstar was a lot more fun because I had a lot more creative input into what was going to happen for that match.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever think you were going to be a general manager at some point? Because, I mean, it's kind of not really in the storylines too much anymore. So it's kind of almost a thing of the past in some ways. So did you ever think that you would get to that level of being a general manager in your past?
No, I'm always grateful for WWE. They gave me the opportunity to try general managing, and I loved it. I love, taking, certain superstars out of championship matches, and the aspect of, pissing off, the babies for the night, that was a lot of fun. And my whole opportunity to be a general manager or manage for a particular show, it was just a lot of fun. I mean, it was never work at the office. I went to work and I was excited to see what I was going to do for the night. So that was something that I was very blessed with, that they trusted me to be the general manager and the manager. So every night was just it was a unexpected thrill, so to speak. Whatever I did, I had fun at it.
Mm-hmm. Now, again, you're in AEW now. What is something that you haven't been able to do yet in professional wrestling that you want to take to AEW and maybe try something out there?
Well, right now I'm not signed with AEW, but I am given a lot of opportunities to work with the talent and to be appearing on their show. The one thing that I am looking forward to, if I do get the opportunity to be signed, is working with the women. I think the women have a lot of growth and they have a lot of ability to make a name for themselves and to represent All Elite Wrestling in a higher capacity than what they are now. And if they trusted me to be able to, be the person for the women, to make sure that they're branded well and they have good promos and that their matches, they look well and they feel good about where they're at in their character, that would be something that I'd be really blessed and to be a part of.
Mm-hmm. So, when you look back at the career that you have had and the journeys that you have had, what's still left for you that you still is on your top of your priority list to go out and still accomplish? Is it getting back, into full-time with professional wrestling, or is it kind of a little bit of both? I like doing podcasting. I like writing books. I like doing, some appearances here and there, kind of a mix of everything. What do you see you really wanting to do in the near future?
Well, if I had a choice and an opportunity, I would love to be full-time, managing a superstar All Elite Wrestling, but as well also taking on different responsibilities of working with the women and working with the coaches there. They have such a fantastic structure of their company, which I'm really excited to see, because a lot of the coaches take on other responsibilities. And as you see, their podcast is run by, referee Aubrey, and then there's Tony Schiavone, and then, there's different superstars that take care of travel. So they all take on the responsibility of making AEW the structure that it is. I think that's really important because the superstars are seeing the work that's behind the scenes. It's not just when they step into the ring. They're taking on the administrative and also, the travel and the branding. So I think that's really a cool aspect of All Elite Wrestling, is that everyone's involved and it's not just being a character. It's about behind the scenes and working on your days off. I think that's really exciting if I was able to, be a part of that.
100%. When you look back now and you're again writing your book right now in the process of that, what's been this journey like for you? It's something completely different for you.
Yeah, right now it was a very strange time because before COVID-19 hit, my book was going full speed ahead. And of course, my editor and all the publishing companies are in New York, so everything stopped. And now we're starting to work again, and things are kind of getting a little bit faster in the development. I love working on my book because I'm able to talk about my life with Eddie and my experiences as going from a housewife to a superstar. And that's something that's very unheard of, especially, in the wrestling industry. But also to be able to be a voice for women who went through spouses that had drug abuse and alcoholism, being the voice for a woman that doesn't think that, that she can't do something because she's over 40. I accomplished everything, at 46. So that's something that I think it's really important to be a role model and a mentor to other women, men, and even, anyone that's reading my book, that age is just a number and you can accomplish anything you want as long as you believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm. Writing a book, Vickie, is a very open, you're writing a book on your life. At what points, what conversations did you have with people close to you of how far do I want to go when writing this book? Because it can get very real and you're talking about your life. So at what point did you have those discussions and, knowing how far do I want to go writing this book?
Yeah, writing the book was something that I need to talk to my daughters about, to be able to get their blessing, so to speak, because they went through a lot. Having Eddie as a father, and our life was very different. Eddie would be gone for 2 to 6 weeks at a time, so they were stuck with me a lot, and they knew that there was a lot of struggles with Eddie's alcoholism and drug abuse, and I think they tried to, compensate a lot to make life easier for me. So to be able to sit down and talk to them and be able to get their blessing was important. My oldest daughter, Shaw, went through an eating disorder. I asked if I could talk about that. And of course, she was, she's an open book as well. And she wants to send a message as well to other people that are suffering from eating disorders. So my book is just a really important message that not only did Eddie get to write his side of the story, and he wrote really good things about me and gave me a lot of, support for what I went through. But my book I felt was so much more because there's a lot of people that suffer with having a spouse that's going through alcoholism or drug abuse, or children going through eating disorders, and there's bullying, and there's moms that are raising kids as a single parent, and even dads too. So if my book is able to have my story be known, and they're able to see what I did, and I don't have all the answers, and I did things my way, but to be able to know that, I did things after 40. I became a WWE superstar. I raised my girls. I wrote my book. I was able to, do a podcast and to find my own identity. That my message is to never let anyone know that because you're a certain age, that life stops. It's you make life what you want it. And I think that's really important to be a witness to other people to hear.
Mm-hmm. Did you reach out to anyone when you were in this process of writing your book to kind of walk you through? Because, it can get tiring, because you're reliving history basically, so who did you kind of stay close to while this process was going on as well?
I'm still writing it, but it's my editor. She's the one who tells me a lot about how I'm able to be able to have this story relate to the audience that's reading the book. And that's something that was very hard for me, because I think when I'm writing my book, I think, oh, this sounds great. But my editor's like pulling things out for me, and she goes, put me in the room and tell me what it is that you feel and see and you hear, and are you crying, are you laughing? And that was something that was very hard for me, because I really had to just sit and remember those times of, with Eddie, going through rough times with him, and with my daughter, and then also performing in the ring. Like, it was a lot of emotional feelings I never thought I would feel before. So that was something that she's been helping me with, and she's like, no, take it back, it's not, I don't feel it. So I have to go back and really remember the moment. So it's been good.
This is my favorite part of the show, Vickie. Is a fast 5 quick round. It's 5 quick questions, and you have however long you take to answer them. This is my favorite part of the show. It's the fast 5 quick round. It's 5 quick questions, as you know, Vickie. So you have however long you take to answer them. Are you ready? So first one, what is one song that you can listen back to that brings you back to your childhood?
Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer.
It's a great song. I listen to it all the time. What is your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve is someone smacking their food with their mouth open.
Yes. Where is one place that you haven't vacationed yet, but you would love to?
Tahiti.
Who is one wrestler that you would love to manage that you haven't yet?
Nyla Rose or Brian Cage, but Brian's already taken, but Nyla Rose.
100%. What would be one finisher move that you would love to try out that you haven't yet?
The Three Amigos.
I'm surprised we haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, I know my limits, Alex. Yeah, I'm not a wrestler.
You always have to believe you can always just keep trying, right, Vickie?
Yeah, that's right.
And then the last one for the Fast 5, what is one thing that you can't live without?
Wow. Okay. Probably my music. I love music. Yeah, it'd be my music.
And Vickie, my last question for you in this interview is a little different one. What is one question you've never been asked in a podcast that you've always wanted to been asked?
Oh my gosh. Uh, wow, you're good. Um, well, dang it. One thing I've been asked in a podcast. Um, oh wow.
That's a tough
One thing I
question.
one thing I haven't been asked.
Or maybe not just on a podcast, but just in life. What is one question you've never really been asked that you've always wanted someone to ask you?
Probably no one ever asked if I wanted to be a wrestler, and I didn't. You know, I was told to be a wrestler. You know, I was told to be in the ring. That was something I did everything at 100%. You know, I did what I was told, but my comfort zone is being a manager or a general manager. But to be in the ring in a match terrified me, and no one ever asked if I was okay with that. Yeah. You know, but about life, I think that no one ever asked if I was lonely when Eddie passed away. You know, it was a very hard life. And I think I think they took it for granted that I was okay. And that was something that I wish that people acknowledge that, you know, it was hard to be by myself. It was a very lonely time. So there you go. I let you know.
Well, Vickie, you know, it's always great talking with you. I'll never forget, I became a wrestling fan mid 2010. It was when you were still with Dolph, managing Dolph, and I'll never forget the first SmackDown. It was when you were wearing the boas, the Leafs around your neck. It was on like one SmackDown, and I always, I swear I fell in love with professional wrestling because I hated when you would come out to the ring and say, "Excuse me." So I'm always grateful for you because I honestly don't think I would have loved professional wrestling if it wasn't for you. So if possible, can we hear an "excuse me" on this podcast today?
Well, Alex, first I want to say thank you. You're my friend. I've known you, you know, doing these interviews. You're such a sweet gentleman. I'm always here to do your interviews for you. And thank you for being a fan. And I'm glad that I pissed you off so much because that was my objective every night was to make every person in that arena hate me. And I value you and thank you for thinking of me to be on your show because it's an honor. And oh yeah, one last thing. Oh yeah. Excuse me!
Well, Vickie, thank you so much. Where can everyone find you on social media throughout this time? I know you're pretty active right now. So where can everyone follow you? And again, listen to your podcast. And then once your book comes out, we'll have to have you back on once it comes out to do some promotion for it as well. So
Thank you.
Tell the fans to, I guess, put yourself over.
Yeah, so on Instagram, I'm in Guerrero_Vickie. On Twitter, I'm at Vickie Guerrero. I have a website, which is VickieGuerrero.net. And you can find my podcast on any of your favorite podcast platforms, which is Apple, Spotify, Podbean. And I just appreciate you guys so much. And thank y'all for always hating me because I can't do my job without you.